to share something with you that might put me in a very negative light. Yeah, relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something. Completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.
This is Colm McGuigan for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Delighted to be joined by Mick Conlon at 20 to 1 at night. Mick, I really appreciate your time. I've tortured you to get this done, and you were hesitant because you were like, man, I need to go to bed, and I've kept you up, so appreciate it. Firstly, let me get your thoughts on that tonight. What did you make of that performance, first of all, from Lee Wood?
Yeah, he boxed well. Obviously, he stuck to whatever game plan they had, whatever they had seen in Lara. I think he probably could have went to the body a bit more, because when he went to the body, you could see Lara's reaction and how it was affecting him. I thought that would have been key. I didn't think he went to the body enough, but he probably couldn't, because when he did, Lara was throwing bombs back at him. Obviously hurt him early, but he also hurt Lara early and showed, Lara had a lot of weaknesses in that fight. But yeah, he was ahead in points and lost. A bit like myself and Lee, I was ahead in points and lost. It doesn't mean fuck all, I suppose, till the fatal bell rings. But yeah, listen, I'm sure he's very upset. I actually probably want them to win. I'm not going to sit here and say I was jumping for joy, but like I didn't care if he won or lost tonight, but I preferred if he probably had have got the decision or had went to the points or knocked him out.
We'll get to that in a second. First of all, do you think it was maybe the wrong decision from maybe not Lee Wood, because as a fighter you want to fight anyone, and I think if I asked you the same question, you would say I'll fight anyone. That's just a fighter's mentality, right? But do you think maybe his team, his management, made the wrong decision here, picking someone like Mauricio Lara as a Pompey defence?
I've seen Ben Davison get a lot of stick tonight for the stoppage, and listen, I'm the first one to throw stick on Ben Davison a lot of the time. I always, I'll take a shot when I call it at times, I'm not going to lie. But I'll be honest when I say I think the stoppage was a good stoppage. People are saying there was 10 seconds left in the round. I don't even think he would have seen the end of the round, even if it was allowed to go on. And I think he saved them from much more damage. He probably could have done it a few times in my fight. I wish he did, but yeah, listen, I think it was a good stoppage. But the worst decision Ben Davison made was picking Lara as Lee Wood's manager, co-manager of Lee partly manages himself. I think picking Lara was silly. I think, listen, is a game about being the best and stuff about that. Yeah, but listen, first and foremost, you want to secure your family and have that kind of big money in the bank. I think if he had been smart, instead of being no, I'm not going to give him the Conlon rematch. Don't want to fight Conlon because how they treated me in the build up, instead of thinking about Lee and his future. He could have fought me, put a rematch clause in. If he lost, has another massive payday rematch. Whereas he probably would have, I think he would have got paid double for fighting me than what he got for Lara, or close to it anyway, I would say. So yeah, I think that was the silly move. But at the end of the day, fair play Lee Wood. He took a big risk. It didn't pay off, and you gotta give him respect for that. At the end of the day, albeit he got KO'd and it was heavy. He it wasn't like he was 12 rounds deep. He was 6 rounds or 7 rounds, whatever it was, and that was a heavy shot. Any of the two of them, I think, could have went. Because he was hurting Lara, I felt. But the best man won. The heaviest puncher won.
We'll get to that in a second. I want to ask you about this stoppage, because as a fighter, and you've seen Lee Wood's reaction, you always want to be in there, and you do need to be saved at certain points. I agree with you that it was a perfect stoppage from Ben Davison, and I think he done the right thing. I tweeted that out, and a lot of people came back to me and said it was a disgrace, shouldn't have been. He had 8 seconds left. He should have let him recover in the corner and seen how he got on in the next round. Do you think, as a fighter, if you were in Lee Wood's position, you would have understood that stoppage?
As the fighter, no, you don't understand that. You're like, no, I was ready to go. And especially someone like Lee, who who's shown that he can kind of recover. He's very, very resilient, and he can come back, and his powers of recovery are very good. But I don't know. I did say this after our fight, that my fight with him probably took a lot more out of him than what it did with me, because it was one shot at the end for me. It was 11 and a half rounds of getting pinged for him, and I don't know if it's took away his punch resistance a bit. It did kind of look like that, but the stoppage thing, it's like you can look at it many ways and have many different arguments, but just seeing how he went down and how his head bounced off the canvas and stuff, and there was still time left in the round. With someone like Lara, who is ferocious, it's 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 a 50-50, or if you want to go and flip a coin with someone's health. Though at the same time, I'm not sure how good Lara's engine is. So could he have been able to turn it on in the next round? It's all the what ifs, and that's probably what's going to kill Lee the most is, oh, what if? What if? What if? I understand it myself. I had a minute and a half to kind of go, what if? So like it's fucking terrible. I'm sure he's got it, and I suppose I'm not here to gloat or talk shit about him. I'm here to give him respect, because he took a fight that no one wanted to take as a voluntary, which he didn't need to do, and he could have made some smarter decisions, yes, but he made a ballsy decision. It didn't pay off, and that's boxing.
I heard Tony Bellew after say that he didn't agree with the stoppage, and he thinks that there were points in the fight with you when you were throwing combinations, because Lara's were really just one shot there, and that was it. You were throwing combinations against Leewood, and the tall didn't come in when it probably should have at one point, potentially. Do you think that was in Ben Davison's mind in the corner whenever he's thrown that tall in?
Nah, probably with me. Ben probably was a bit more braver with me, because he probably felt like he was fighting me, because he got attacked in press conferences and stuff. So he was probably a bit braver with the towel. But I think, the worry of Lara being such a devastating puncher, and if you go back to when Josh Warrington fought him the first time, I know Sean O'Hagan got an awful lot of stick for not throwing the towel in and not saving Josh a bit earlier, which he probably could have. And I don't think Ben Davison wanted to repeat that mistake. So, yeah, listen, Lara is a heavy, heavy puncher. You probably will get up and go again, but you're going to get hurt again. So, Lee was on shaky legs, and, I think it was a good stoppage.
Let's talk about scenarios next, because I think it's important that we get to the bottom of what's going to happen next, really. And speaking to Sam Jones just before I'm speaking to you, and he came up with a few different scenarios. First of all, Lee Wood's got a rematch clause. Do you think that that's career suicide almost if he takes a rematch against Lara? Because potentially if he gets knocked out again, it's career ending, right? Do you think that isn't a justifiable option for Lee Wood next?
Well, I suppose if he wants to go on with legacy and fighting, taking the hardest fights and all what he says he wants to fight the best and stuff, I think the Lara fight is a fight he has to take next. But if he wanted to kind of secure his family and take smarter fights, I think he would look at a Josh Warrington. He would look at trying to do a rematch with myself, but that won't happen now. I've got my own stuff ahead of me. I've got big fights in the pipeline. So these are things where you're going, fuck. What's to do now? I think the Josh Warrington fight next for him is probably the most financially, like the best move financially, but he won't get that, because if he doesn't fight Lara, Josh Warrington's going to fight Lara. So who does he fight? I don't know.
To be honest with you, I disagree on the point that Warrington's probably the best financially, because for me, I think you're the best fight for him financially, whether you want to take that next, because the ball's kind of in your court now, especially if you're going to fight for a world title next. But if he was to fight you next, and say it was in Ireland, in Belfast and Falls Park, just for talk's sake, that sets up an unbelievable trilogy then if you were to win that fight, which secures Lee's financial future really for his family and gets him in and out of the sport. So if I'm asking you the question of, there's been talk, and I know you can't confirm anything, that you might fight Lopez next. If that does happen and you beat Lopez, would you be open to to bring in Lee Wood to Belfast? Is that something you would like to do to avenge what happened before?
Yeah, if I was world champion, I would expect him to become the Belfast. But it would have to be financially right for me, or it wouldn't happen. Because what is he bringing to the table except the win over me, which a fight that I believe I won, but I got knocked out in the end. But yes, like I don't know if he can go and get something or do something. What he said after every time I was mentioned, maybe if he picks something up, we could do it. But until then, no, maybe I'm not interested.
You think for Lara next it is the Warrington fight, and you think that's probably the best option for both of them?
Well, if it's not Lee, I think it'll be Josh, because you've seen the madness after. Share it to you guys. You're catching it in video and stuff. IFL, the spitting and the going Lara going crazy. He's a mad little bastard, it seems. But yeah, I think it's Lara will face one of those two next. So that means those two probably not face each other. So I don't know. I think as well, like Lee Wood is basically a year since our fight, and then he fought there. So you never know. The inactivity probably could have affected him a bit. He
Does
was
something
he was boxing well, He was boxing
he
well.
was.
I actually thought, like, before the fight, I said Lara would do him in the 4 rounds. That's what I was thinking. I don't need to go out there and put all my predictions and things online. I was wrong anyway, but I was thinking Lara would have done him early. I was half hoping Lee would win. But like once he had control of the fight and had his distance and stuff, I thought he was going to win. And I think he just got a little bit reckless and took a risk which he didn't need to take. If he had been a bit smarter, and just stuck to his boxing,
Lee being in a 12-round grueling battle against you, suffering a big knockdown when his head hit the canvas that time. Yeah. Then again tonight with a big knockdown, 7 rounds, tough rounds against Mauricio Lara. Do you think that affects him going forward? He's 34 years of age. He's not 24 like Lara.
Yeah, I do definitely. I said before this, and someone says, like, I could see him starting to think about retirement here, because that'll be 2 fights in a row. He's been badly concussed. That's not good for his health, and he wouldn't want to see anything happening. No, I'd be smart. This sport is a dangerous game. For all of us who are in it, so you got to think about your health and make the best decisions in it for your health, and the smartest things for your health and your future outside of the game, because it's a very short career. And I know we do it for the fans and all this, everything like that, which is true to a point, because you got to do it for yourself. You got to do it. You got to make sure you're not giving too much of your life away, like sacrificing, your health when you're going to learn having these types of wars. So yeah, I think he needs to take a long, hard look in the mirror and make his mind up on what he's going to do next, or where he's going to go next. The ballsiness in him, I think he says he wants to have the rematch. But the business side and the brains need to come in at some point, somewhere, from him or his team. If he doesn't have them, you may hope his team has them. And they pick, smarter fights.
One last question before I let you go, because I know it's late. Talking about your career now, because it's important. People want to know what is next. When will we see you out? Is it likely to be Lopez?
I'm unsure yet. Can't say nothing.
Can't say anything. When will you be able to give us a bit of an idea?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
You're being very secretive, mate.
Things are on the way, and things are being finalized and stuff. So once everything is kind of done, that's when I'll announce, and I'm sure you'll be the first person on me to get something sorted. So yeah.
Well, Mick, appreciate your time this late at night, mate. Honestly, absolute legend. Thanks a million for your time in AFL, and we'll speak again soon.
I'm gonna take care.
to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah. Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.